Everybody, good morning, Unity. Welcome. Let's stand and sing some songs this morning. Let's get that joy in our hearts. We're not doing that song. I should do that song though. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, go. Good morning, Unity. Welcome to harmony. Come through those open doors. This church is yours. This is where we learn and grow, find the things we really know. Look inside to find the way, start a brand new day. Good morning, Unity. Welcome to harmony. Come through those open doors. This church is yours. Good morning, everyone. You're shining like the sun. Glad I made it here in time. This church is mine. This church is mine. This church is mine. Good morning, everybody. We're going to carry on, so don't sit down, because this is one of those stomping, clapping songs. So that's what I expect from everybody. Unity, unity, huh. Unity, 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 huh. Unity, unity. We blind ourselves with who we might be. Our possibilities too bright for us to see. We blind ourselves with who we might be. Our possibilities too bright for us to see. Unity, unity, huh. Unity, 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 huh. Unity, unity. We blind ourselves with who we might be. Our possibilities too bright for us to see. We blind ourselves with who we might be. Our possibilities too bright for us to see. Unity, unity, huh. Unity, 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 huh. Unity, unity. Bring in the light and fill your soul. Together we'll all feel whole. Bring in the light and fill your soul. Together we'll all feel whole. Turn on the light, turn on the light. Click, turn on the light, turn on the light. Turn on the light, turn on the light. Click, turn on the light, turn on the light. Bring in the light and fill your soul. Together we'll all feel whole. Bring in the light and fill your soul. Together we'll all feel whole. Keep it going, people. Turn on the light, turn on the light. Click, turn on the light, turn on the light. Turn on the light, turn on the light. Click, turn on the light, turn on the light. Unity, unity, huh. Unity, 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 huh. Unity, unity. There we are. Good morning, everybody. We've got one more song. This is a church song, truly a church song. In our day-to-day world, life can seem so rough. With prayer and praise, we gather here to lift each other up, sharing poetry and praises, and music that raises our connection to all perfection. Creativity, honoring diversity with encouragement, without judgment, building community, a family in unity. It's a feeling we carry in our hearts, a feeling we carry in our hearts. Creativity, honor diversity with encouragement, without judgment, building community, a family in unity. It's a feeling we carry in our hearts, a feeling we carry in our hearts, a feeling we carry in our hearts. Good morning, Unity.
Please be seated. Good morning, Unity in the Seven Hills. Thank you, Daniel. Well, that last song, I don't know if you know the history of it. It was literally written by this congregation when Nancy Purcell was the minister here. I remember the weekend that people came together and actually in the congregation wrote that song. Let's start out by blessing the Unity candle with that great affirmation. There's only one presence and one power in the universe and in our lives. God, the good, omnipotent. Kristen Harmel, that best-selling author, writes, whenever you feel you've fallen short, perhaps what's really happening is that you've decided to take a few steps back to get a running start on the future. And when we can take that kind of attitude, instead of being in professional victim mode, and bring that into our lives, then things can really go differently. When we realize that loving and supportive God that we have, and bring that into our daily lives, then there is a new stride in our step and a new confidence, and we feel that we can be overcomers in whatever the situation we're facing. I don't know about you, but when I drove in today, this was the first time I saw the completed kiosk over the refrigerator and the food pantry. We are, for many years, this congregation has supplied canned goods, dry goods to the community. Also, there's a free lending library and all that. But now we are in partnership with a wonderful group called Food Not Bombs, and that's the refrigerator out there. We're going to be able to provide a lot more than just dry food to the community, but we wanted to get a kiosk over the over the refrigerator, over the dry goods shelter. And we have a posse called the Unity Six. And let me see if I can get all their names. It's Bob, Adam, Vern, Lisa. I'm missing several. Bill, yeah, and I'm missing one more. Okay. And we want to thank Jim, and want to thank so much. I mean, gosh, it really, honestly, truly looks great. Could you guys stand for a second? Could you guys stand? Mr. Bob, can you stand for a minute in the back? Mr. Bob, there we go. Up, Jim, up. There we go. We want to say that great spirit. Yeah. We love you. We bless you. We appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in you. We truly do. This congregation may be small, but we are truly mighty. What we are doing in this community, I think, is really wonderful. I go back to the book of James. James was the younger brother of Jesus, and for many years after the crucifixion, resurrection, James was the leader of the church in Jerusalem during a very, very difficult time period. And James said, this is the essence of real religion. Real religion is that you take care of the widows, you take care of the orphans, you're concerned about those who are marginalized in your society. And this congregation, I think, spot on, small but mighty. That's going to be a wonderful service to this community, and I believe also on this church. If there's anybody who's new to Unity of the Seven Hills, welcome, 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 welcome. I hope you will join us afterwards for food and fellowship downstairs. We have a packet. If anybody has not received it or would like it, and I'm not trying to embarrass people, you can go up and get it later back at the platform back there. But it's a wonderful packet which tells about Unity in the Seven Hills, the Unity movement in general, and we would love to get to know you better. So, Every day or every Sunday, we go through a different unity basic principle, the 5 basic principles. We're actually on the 5th principle, which essentially says, all this stuff, all this great spiritual knowledge, if it is, just remains head knowledge and not heart knowledge, then there's some problem. It's almost like the medicine, you can go to CVS or Walgreens and buy it, but unless you're taking it, it's not probably doing you a lot of good. That great comedian Mort Saul said he bought the world's great books and he put them on his shelf in his library. He wasn't going to read them, but he thought through osmosis, the world's great books would just seep in. It doesn't, unfortunately, work that way. And for many of us, the hardest thing to do is when we hit those potholes in life. We get the diagnosis from the doctor we didn't want to get. The love relationship which we were so counting on takes a different course of action. The job which we thought was, our ticket, and the company's relocating to Mexico or whatever. When those things hit, and they do, to be able to turn to these spiritual principles and to realize that we truly are one with the one, and that we were born blessed. And I love that great all-purpose unity affirmation, which goes like this. This, and you fill in the blank, this cannot stop my good from coming to me. When we can turn to that in the midst of the crises, or whatever the crisis du jour is, then things really go well. Let's say that unity principle together. It's not enough to understand spiritual teachings. We must live the truth that we know. And when we do, we find that we can face serenity even whatever calamitous things are going on in our lives. We are so blessed to have a wonderful YFM program. Thank you, Crystal, for all that you are truly doing. Let's bless the kids.
Youth together. You are a perfect child of God, and God and I love you just the way you are and wherever you are. Let's stand and sing. So we send them off. This bright light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This bright light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This bright light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Let's sing one more time. This bright light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This bright light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This bright light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Woohoo!
Please be seated. Let's affirm our mission statement together. Unity in the Seven Hills is a vibrant, inclusive community that inspires individual spiritual growth through education, prayer, heart connection, and sacred service. And our vision statement, we are an inclusive community centered in spirit. We embrace our divine oneness, power, and purpose. Now I've asked Mary Ellen to come on up and read the daily word. And we're so thankful for these wonderful flowers.
And thank you, God, for the wonderful flowers. Sunday, May 21st. As I practice, the daily word is protection. As I practice the presence of God, I feel secure. There is only one power and one presence in the universe and in my life. God, omnipotence, omniscience, and omnipresence is not only all around me, God is within me. As I take this truth into my heart, I feel calm and secure. The circumstances of the world have no lasting power over me. God is greater and more enduring than anything I may be called to face. I have within me the power to feel God's protecting presence at any time. As I pray, I affirm the strength and power of God are mine to call upon. I can use these divine powers to move beyond that which may scare or intimidate me. In renewed faith and deep security, I move bravely on. The one who is in you is greater than the one who is in the world. 1 John 4:4.
And now we have special praise and special music. Thank you.
So this is a song I wrote. I actually have done it here at least once, fairly recently, but we're going to do it again. Stand up one more time, stand up, keep on standing, get up, don't you give up, stand up, stand up, stand up, one more time, stand up, keep on standing, get up, don't you give up, stand up, stand up. How are you living? What do you choose? How to react when you win or you lose? What are you giving? What have you done? Are you becoming? Are you having fun? Stand up one more time. Stand up. Keep on standing. Get up. Don't you give up. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up one more time. Stand up. Keep on standing, get up, don't you give up, stand up, stand up. How are you living, what do you choose? How do you react when you win or you lose? What are you giving, what have you done? Are you becoming? Are you having fun? Rock bottom can make a great foundation. It can be a great place to start. Rock bottom can make a great foundation. It can be a great place to start. Rock bottom can make a great foundation. It can be a great place to start. So come on now. Stand up one more time. Stand up. Keep on standing. Get up. Don't you give up. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up one more time. Stand up. Keep on standing. Get up. Don't you give up. Stand up. Stand up. Stand up one more time. Stand up. Keep on standing. Get up. Don't you give up. Stand up. Stand up. How you living? What do you choose? How do you react when you win or you lose? What are you giving? What have you done? Are you becoming? Are you having fun? Are you having fun? Stand up one more time. Stand up. Keep on standing. Get up. Don't you give up. Stand up. Stand up one more time. Stand up one more time. Stand up. Keep on standing. Get up. Don't you give up. Stand up. Stand up.
Thank you, Daniel and Bill. And Matt. Yes. Well, the title of this talk is Heaven in a Laundromat. And so I had one of you came up to me and says, you know, Pastor, when the title is the talk is Heaven in a Laundromat, you know you're going to be taken through the spin cycle. So, and then another one of you came up to me and said, you know, these days the only normal that exists is on my dryer. There's a cycle which says normal. That seems to be the only normal that exists. But anyway, this is a true story about a woman by the name of Roberta Mesner who lives in Huntington, West Virginia. And when I saw it, I thought there were so many wonderful spiritual truths in it. I wanted to share it with you. Roberta lives in Huntington, West Virginia. Huntington, West Virginia is known as the opioid capital of the world. They're going through a really serious, drug-related problems. Roberta, would shake her head and say, "My God, yes." I heard an interview with the fire chief, the fire marshal of Huntington, West Virginia, and he said, over 60% of the calls we get have nothing to do with fires. They're drug related. It's a drug related issue we're being called in on. Only 20% of the calls we get actually have something to do with fires. So, and Roberta says, well, it goes way beyond that. I mean, you order a package from UPS or Amazon, you better be there when it's on your front porch or it's going to be stolen off your front porch. And then Roberta, she said, and this was a community which was not locked doors, and now it's a community with locked doors. And then she said, even down the road, wasn't even, the doors were locked, but the thieves took the doors, they took and stole the door too, as with what was in the house. And so Roberta, oh my God, I remember this town when it was so wonderful, and it's going to the hell in a handbasket. It's just being destroyed, and Roberta had taken to reading books by an author by the name of Jan Karon, and particularly the Mitford series. I'm curious, is anybody at Jan Karon? Anybody? Yeah, I see several Jan Karon readers. I've started reading Jan Karon and the Mitford series. Wonderful books. Jan Karon writes about Mitford, this mythological town in North Carolina. It's almost like, Andy Griffith and Mayberry town, where everybody's taken care of, and community spirit. And the books center on a Episcopal priest, Father Tim. Father Tim is so wise, and I'll make up an example. For example, the book centers around, there's a company, let's say sort of like a Walmart, that wants to build a super center in the store, and they're concerned it's going to destroy the store, and on top of that, the apple harvest might not come out this apple harvest festival. Something's happening. It might not have. Father Tim to the rescue, and he finally, by the last chapter, there's a compromise which, the Walmart and the town are happy with, everybody's happy, and there's an apple festival. And Jan's saying, to get this kind of, Roberta's saying, to get this kind of spirit, forget it, I'll have to move the heck out of Huntington. It's never gonna, Mitford is never gonna happen in Huntington. And then, oh my God, her clothes washer breaks down. Her electric clothes washer breaks down. She calls the man to come in to fix it. He comes in looks, and he says, well, it's the good news, bad news. Good news is, I think it's fixable. It's just this part here. Oh, she said, well, that's great. Let me put the part in. He said, well, then now I have to get to the bad news. The bad news is, supply side shortages and backup and all. Maybe the part's on a boat from Shanghai to here, maybe not. Who knows when it will get here? She says, well, how many weeks? He says, I don't know. It could be a long time, could be tomorrow. Who knows? I mean, she's shaking her head. Her dirty clothes are piling up. I'm going to have to go to a laundromat to get my oh my God, this is disgrace upon disgrace. They're dirty. The laundromats are dirty, and there are all these people there, and you have to waste all this time in a laundromat, and so finally there's nothing she can do because the part hasn't come. She goes down to the laundromat and she walks in, and the laundromat is freshly painted. It looks clean and everything. So all right, so that's one point in its favor. She goes over, throws the clothes into the jumbo washing machine. She throws a cup of the liquid in. She buys, the liquid there, and she throws it in, puts her quarters in and pushes it. And the machine starts turning, and it was like something out of I Love Lucy. The soap suds start mounting and mounting and now it's almost, it's almost like Lucille Ball at the laundromat. The soap suds are starting to come out of the laundering machine. The owner of the machine comes over and says, "Oh dear, don't worry about it." They push a button, it stops. Says, the thing you bought, you only need a quarter of a cup to go in. You didn't need the whole cup to go in. But don't worry about it. We'll take care of it. We'll take care. Here, why don't you sit down, have a cup of coffee? And Roberta's thinking, now they're trying to make extra money out of me by selling me coffee. And sort of the woman looks at her and reads the mind, says, free, the coffee's free, enjoy. Sit here, we'll take care of it. And so several people come over, they fix it up, and it's stirring and all this. And Roberta gets up and she starts looking around, nice people, and she looks at the board. There's a bulletin board, and it says, Zumba classes given Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Join, she's thinking Zumba class. Yeah, the Zumba classes right here at the laundromat. And then she reads and says, do you have a child that needs tutoring? Bring the child here. We have tutors in the following areas. Can you be a tutor for a child? Sign up here. Then she reads, then it says, we at the laundromat get together and we volunteer. Once a week to go to this community service and volunteer here and serve meals and all this. And then she reads, there's a potluck every Saturday. Come on down to the laundromat for potluck. Then she goes to another bulletin board and she's shaking her head. And she reads this, she sees this big article by the Herald Dispatch, which is the local newspaper, about this laundromat. And the headlines are something about building community in a laundromat. Building community in a laundromat. And she starts reading, and there's a picture of the owner who came up, when the suds were going all over the place. And the owner said, yeah, we want clean clothes and all that, but we really want to build community, and so that's what we're doing here. It's not just this. We have Zumba class, this and that and the other. She reads this article and thinks, this is wonderful. Okay, so I've been wanting to take a Zumba class, so she starts bringing her laundry down. The part hasn't come. It's still on a boat from Shanghai. God knows where the part is. But she's taken a Zumba class. She's bringing her dirty laundry and taking a Zumba class. She says, I don't have kids, but I taught English for a while. I can tutor English. And she starts tutoring English to several kids. She gets involved with the volunteering. She comes down on Saturday night for potluck. And lo and behold, she says, my God, who the heck ever thought that I would find Mitford? That I would find Mitford in a laundromat. Mitford in a laundromat. Jan Karen writes, wonderful, wonderful author and woman. Jan Mitford writes that, you don't have to go to Mitford. There is no Mitford. I mean, it doesn't really, it doesn't, but it can exist. And Jan Karen says, Mitford can exist right where you are. It just takes a change in your consciousness. It takes change in your consciousness and some sweat equity. To be willing to roll up your sleeves and give in some sweat equity, and you can have Mitford right where you are. Right where you are. That great French author Marcel Proust wrote, we don't need new lands or voyages of discovery. What we need are fresh eyes to see the world. Fresh eyes to see the world. I was just so touched when I read that story about, and Roberta saying, who the heck ever expected to find this in a laundromat, and that it was possible to have this in Huntington, West Virginia. It reminds me very much of that great Unity teacher, Eric Butterworth. Eric Butterworth, well, wrote many wonderful things, but one of the things he said was, when you go into a dank room or a musty, dusty room, a lot of times, it only takes one person to plug in and turn on the air conditioner. And Eric then said, wherever you are, it only takes one person to turn on the prayer conditioner. It only takes one person to turn on the prayer conditioner. And when we can do that, then what might have appeared to be, the opioid capital of the world can start becoming that Mitford. And the interesting thing is, the important thing is not only does, because sometimes it takes a while for the outside world to change. Maybe it won't, but we change. And when we change and our consciousness changes, then we can face situations that before probably would have seemed intolerable to us. My thing is to think of, my God, if you could have that heaven in a laundromat, just think how much more you can have in a place like Unity in the Seven Hills. And we're starting, we're really starting to see this. Last week, we had welcomed 7 new members. There are so many positive things going on. Attendance has been really good. Finances. Again, the board's going to hear that last month again was, in the black. And I don't want to make it sound like we're on easy street, but things are looking, things really are looking up. Real signs of transformation. Wonderful, the Angels 101 class, from one to oneness on Thursdays, rubber meets the road on Tuesdays. In Ari's note, he sometimes says, well, we don't have anything going Friday, but you have to have at least one. I guess it's our old Jewish roots. You have to have a Sabbath rest, and so it's on Friday. So many positive signs of transformation. The other thing which we so often hear, oh, religion, it's over the hill, nobody's interested in all this. Well, a very interesting survey recently came out by a group called Benara, which in terms of, I would say probably it's one of the most respected survey areas in terms of spirituality. They did a very interesting thing. They asked people, again, a representative survey, are you really interested in more spiritual growth? Would you be interested in more spiritual growth? Boomers, baby boomers, 72% said yes. Gen X, 77%. Millennials, are you really interested in more spiritual growth? 77% of them. And even, oh my God, like my daughter Robin, Gen Zers, 73%. There is a wonderful, well, the many wonderful things in the Gospels, but one where I a lot of times go back to, Jesus was taking the disciples through Galilee, and he's going through fields, and what I thought was going on, it was the fall. So it's harvest season. And Jesus has taken the disciples through Galilee in the fall, and he's pointing to the fields, and he's saying, the fields are ripe and ready for harvest. I mean, it's fall, he's pointing to, and he's making an analogy, a metaphor. Fields are ripe and ready for harvest. However, modern scholars, and I think their reasoning is right, believe that this didn't happen during the fall. It was during the dead of winter. It was during the dead of winter. Jesus was taking the disciples through the fields in the dead of winter and was able to point and say, the fields are ripe and ready for harvest. When we can start to see that, even in the dead of winter, or as Myrtle Fillmore, that great, co-founder of the Unity movement, kept on saying, look beyond appearances. Look beyond appearances. It's very easy to say, oh my God, I'm just one small person. What can I do? Archbishop Desmond Tutu, used to say, if you think something small can't have a major impact, go in a sleeping bag with a mosquito. Go in a sleeping bag with a mosquito, and to realize that you can have those, changes. I think on a personal level, I love the saying, you can't help but being in heaven. You can only fail to recognize it. You can only fail to recognize it. Our consciousness so matters. Our attitude of gratitude so matters. I know the days when in the morning when I get up and can say, God, I need an attitude adjustment. Forget about the rest of the world for a moment. Yeah, and I'm sure I could play a They Done Me Wrong song. I could play that. But the real issue, the real important thing is I need an attitude adjustment. And when I can go into that, and when I can start to say that Mitford is possible right here, right now, where I am, and that I can be a part of that change, then things start to happen. And when I can remember Eric Butterworth's, his comment about prayer conditioning, it only takes one person to really turn on the prayer conditioner, and it makes all the difference. One of the best definitions I have ever heard of God, G-O-D, good, orderly direction. Good, orderly direction, doing the next right thing. And when we keep doing the next right thing, bit by bit, things start to happen. And I think, God bless that laundromat, but Unity in the Seven Hills, I think, has so much more to offer than the laundromat. And we're seeing these things come to light if we just keep doing the next right things. I think on a larger level, as it were, that Mitford spirit is possible even in Huntington, West Virginia, the opioid capital of the world. But if it is possible there, think about how much more it is possible right here and right now. I would say again, second, if it is possible in a laundromat, it is certainly possible in here for us in Unity of the Seven Hills, and we are seeing that. Third, I know I've told the story about when I was at United Way meeting Dolly Partons, but it bears repeating. Dolly Partons, she shared about growing up in a one-room shack, dirt floor and all that, but she said, even as a kid, I learned to dream big and to pray big. I learned to dream big and pray big. If we as a community, if we of Unity in the Seven Hills continue to dream big and pray big, incredible things can happen, and we can have an incredible positive influence in Lynchburg and the world beyond. Fourth, I would say our consciousness so matters. Our consciousness so matters. And I find sometimes when, it's important for me to, when certain thoughts go through my head, to say, how does this align with Unity principles? How does this align with spiritual principles? And if it doesn't, to start checking that and say, God, I do need an attitude adjustment. And when that happens, things start to, you start to, as it were, cook with gas. And lastly, I would to remember that for Jesus going through the fields during the dead of winter, the fields are ripe and ready for harvest. And I would also remember something else that he said. Jesus said, all things are possible with spirit. All things are possible with God. In the Long Island translation of the Bible, it says, and even in a laundromat. Thank you, and God bless.
So as we go into meditation now, let's take those thoughts, those words, and explore what it is that it is ours to give. What is mine to give? What is mine to do? All I want is to share myself with you. So I stand here asking, what can I do? What is mine to give? I give it to you. What is mine to give? What is mine to do? What is, all I want is to share myself with you. So I stand here asking, what can I do? What is mine to give? I give it to you. What is mine to give? I give it to you.
Let's take a deep breath in and slowly let it out. Let's close our eyes if we feel comfortable doing so. I'd like to start down with our feet to feel comfortable, dekinked, rested, feeling that peace and warmth going up our legs, into our knees, thighs, pelvic area, stomach, belly button. That peace and rest in our chest, in our shoulders, down through our arms, up through our throats, into our jaws, which a lot of times hold so much tension. Into our heads, up through the top of our heads, through that crown chakra. That great spiritual writer C.S. Lewis talked about being surprised by joy. Roberta certainly was surprised by joy in that laundromat. I ask you to imagine a time when you were surprised by joy. You weren't expecting, but something wonderful happened. And if you've never been surprised by joy, to imagine what it would be like. To feel peace, opportunities, a sense of community and positiveness, and to know how well loved you are. To truly know that you were born blessed and remain blessed. With this sense of peace and wholeness, we can gladly go into the silence. Dear Spirit, thank you for our many, many blessings. And where we do face challenges, help us to view these challenges as opportunities for more spiritual growth. And for this and so much more, we say thank you and amen and amen.
The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. And the presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever I am, God is. And all is well. Let's stand and sing. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. And the presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever I am, God is. And all is well.
Thank you. Be seated. Well, it's Jim Rosebergy, that great spiritual teacher at Unity, and he actually wrote a book by this title, said, even mystics have to pay bills. And we have been so blessed. I mean, this congregation came through the pandemic, paid off the mortgage. We're ready for new challenges. I mean, we have not just dry goods. We have, a refrigerator out there. There's almost nothing I think that this congregation can't do once it really gets its mind spiritually wrapped on that and believes that it is something which Spirit would have us do. Let us affirm our abundance together. Unity in the Seven Hills is abundantly blessed. Creative people are drawn to us. Divine ideas flow through us. Financial resources bless us. and we accomplish mighty works together. And this is a giving church. I mean, during, I got to say, some Unity churches during the pandemic stopped giving. This was never the case here. It continued to be a tithing church. We support so many wonderful Unity institutions like Silent Unity, Unity Worldwide Ministries, local charities. We just gave a wonderful check to Humankind. Some of the tithe is going to be used because there were expenses to get all that stuff up and going, will be used for that. But believe me, I think I shared this story. I was driving here and came into the church, and there was a young mother, and she was taking dry goods, and there was construction. She asked, "What's the construction for?" I told her, "Food, not bombs, and we're going to have a refrigerator out here, and we're going to be able to give, not just dry food." And the look on her face was just really incredible. So we're doing, I think, so much good. Our Abundancy campaign, we're now up to 69% of the total. I must say, for the last several months, we have been in the black. So I don't want to come around and like it's poverty mentality or anything else like that. This is it's going along. I think if we just keep doing the next right thing, we're going to be just fine. If you've not filled out a pledge form, we'd ask you. There's some in the back. If you could do that. The neat thing is, it's not just about money. It's about time, treasure, and talent. The volunteering commitments are so incredibly important. We never would have gotten that kiosk up if it weren't for volunteer efforts and all that. Our greeters are going to come down and have us come row by row up. I know many of you, give once a month or so or whatever. Don't worry about it. Come on up. Your good vibes and on the offerings mean an awful lot. Please go in front of the Unity candle, that wonderful spiritual light, and then take an affirmation. I have found those affirmations so often really ring true. I mean, it's like the I Ching almost. They really do hit the spot. And now we come to my favorite. No offense, my favorite song of the whole shooting match, as it were. Something Wonderful.
Oh, no offense at all. Harold Payne is a great songwriter, and a friend of mine too. So there you go. So let's stand and sing as we come forward as well, and grace the basket with your blessings, and don't forget to take one of those affirmations. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. I can feel it in my body, I can feel it in my soul, I can feel it in my heart, and it won't let go, no, it won't let go. All this love inside, we can let it shine, yes we can. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. I can feel it in my body, I can feel it in my soul, I can feel it in my heart, and it won't let go, no, it won't let go. All this love inside, we can let it shine out, yes we can. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. I can feel it in my body, I can feel it in my soul, I can feel it in my heart, and it won't let go, no, it won't let go. All this love inside, we can let it shine, yes we can. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. something wonderful.
Oh.
So let's bless these gifts together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. United in mind, body, and spirit, I dedicate these gifts as they grow to bless our community, our neighborhood, and our world. Thank you, everybody, for being here this morning. Thank you for those folks out online, too. For a schedule of events and classes, go to unityinthesevenhills.org. Everybody together? unityinthesevenhills.org. You can join our continuing classes, Angels 101, Wednesdays at 1. Lots of ones there, so you can remember that. One-to-oneness, speaking of ones, the Bhagavad Gita meets Thursdays at 7. Thursdays at 7. Both classes are hybrid, so you can come in person or join us on Zoom. Join our ongoing prayer discussion group tonight at 7:30 on Zoom. We'll continue the Anatomy of Prayer, a 4-part series by Reverend Richard Burdick of Unity North Atlanta. And come to Miller Park for our local Juneteenth celebration. The fun starts at 10 a.m. on the 17th of June and goes until 2 p.m. We're asking for volunteers for our booth. That's for Juneteenth, the 17th of June. If you're interested, contact the office or speak to Robin. Gina and Gashon return next Saturday, May 27th, with the Bliss Bash Curtain Experience. Get ready for sacred chanting, singing, and dancing from 4 until 6, with ecstatic music from this phenomenal duo. You can purchase tickets in advance for $20 on Eventbrite. Tickets at the door will be $25. We have many posters to put out, so please come see us if you are able to help with distribution.
Need some downtown posters put, but we're in pretty good shape now with that. But I did want to remind you that part of this money that we could make to get us to where we need to be, it could be done with this event. So please support this event. It's a lot of fun. You'll love it. Everybody that comes loves it. And that's how we first met Vernon, who just came today, so thank you. Anyway, I just wanted to say that.
Cool. Oh, no, it's right. So do we want to hear from the YOU this morning? I think we do. Let's make sure the monitor is just down all the way.
We talked about growth today. We made some cute little caterpillars and butterflies that we can learn and grow and change.
Cool. There you go. And thank you, Crystal. Your prayer chaplain today is Sally. She's right there, and she'll be with you afterwards here. Please join us downstairs after the service for coffee and snacks. If you're watching at home, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and click on that bell icon so that you can know when we next go live. Let's sing this peace song together. Ready?